Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round one of the League Challenge that happened at Die Hard Games on February 15th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format anyone wants, really. More info in the description. League Cup, Saturday, February 24th at 11 a.m., and Temporal Forces pre-releases starting Saturday, March 9th at 1 p.m. All Central Time, all at Die Hard Games, and check out Pokemon's event locator for premier events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, and pre-releases. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's get into this game. On the left we have a Lost Zone variant. On the right, Chien-Pao backs Caliber. Looks like Chien-Pao is kicking things off for us in this game with a Shivery Chill. When Chien-Pao's in the active spot, it can use that ability to search the deck for two basic water energies, put them into the hand, energy attached to the active, and pass things over to our Lost Zone player. Not the best turn for our Chien-Pao, by the way. No Frigibax down, most notably. Turn 1. Either way, our Lost Zone player is going to start with a Battle VIP pass. That infamous item card can only be played on the first turn, on your first turn, but when you do, search your deck for two basic Pokemon and put them on your bench. Cramorant and Comfey hitting the bench there. Next is a Fog Crystal that lets the player search the deck for a basic Psychic Pokemon or Energy. Second Comfey found in this case and put onto the bench already. A lot fuller bench compared to their opponents here. But we'll see what our opponents got on next turn. But for now, next is a Pokegear 3.0. Fail. That card lets you look at the top 7 cards of the deck and add a supporter you find there to your hand. But no supporter targeted there, let's say. So just going to shuffle that deck back up for the player's next action this turn. Going to want to see some switch cards, but let's go with another Pokegear 3.0. That one was not manufacturer defect. Do not send that one back to the plant. It found a Chorus's Experiment. Perfect. That's exactly what these Lost Zone decks want to do, is pretty much play Chorus Experiment every turn. That card lets you look at the top 5 cards of the deck, keep 3 of them, and send 2 to the Lost Zone. Battle VIP Pass and Nest Ball sent to the Lost Zone. We already have enough Pokemon down. 3 cards kept. Sableye manually retreats into Comfey. Comfey uses its flower selecting ability to look at the top 2 cards of the deck, keep 1 of them, send 1 to the Lost Zone. Another VIP Pass sent to the Lost Zone. 3 seen during turn 1 so far, by the way. Spiritomb hits the bench there with its Fettered and Misfortune ability, shutting off basic V abilities. Things will be passed over to our Chien-Pao player. So no Lumineon can be used to bail out the start here thanks to the benched Spiritomb. Energy attached to the active Chien-Pao. It's powered up and ready to attack. Its Hailblade attack has you discard any number of water energy attached to all of your Pokemon, and it does 60 times the amount of energy that was discarded in that way. So right now doing 120, more than enough to KO the opposing Comfey, and a Professor's Research is the supporter for turn, discarding the hand and drawing 7 fresh new cards. Let's see if we can find some more basics. We found that Articuno with Ice Symbol, boosting basic water Pokemon attacks by 10 damage. And we definitely want to get at least 1 Frigibax down. A second Chien-Pao is put onto the bench here. I don't think I'm seeing a Frigibax yet. We want to have 2 down, since that Cramorant over on the opposing side can easily KO the lone Frigibax that would be out. There we go. We got a Frigibax down, so that's good. Rare Candy cannot be used here. A Pokemon has to be in play for at least a turn. in order to evolve. We'll see if our players catch that here. In the meantime, a Shivery Chill is being used to fetch 2 water energy out of the deck. Our player on the right here is a bit of a new player. He's been on the channel a couple times, but overall newer, especially compared to our seasoned senior on the left here. So I'm sure the evolution, the illegal evolution, is a honest mistake. So we'll just do our best to move forward with the game here. Baxcalibur has the super cold ability that lets you accelerate as much energy, as much water energy as you want from your hand onto the field. So 2 more energy were accelerated onto that active Chien-Pao. And yes, we are definitely taking the KO. Very nice with the Articuno's ice symbol only having the discard 1 water energy here for 70 damage versus 2. So that's a bonus. We would have had the KO without the Baxcalibur coming into play as well, so I don't think the illegal evolution will affect anything in the long run here, but like I said, we'll just do our best. We'll move forward over on Lost Zone side, starting things off with the flower selecting, drawing a couple cards, sending one to the Lost Zone. Next is a course experiment. You guys know what that does. We look at the top 5, keep 3, send 2 to the Lost Zone. Lost Zone count is slowly building up. We're at 6 right now. 4, 7, and 10 are our thresholds, and we'll explain why those are important as they become relevant. Meanwhile, our player is looking through that sizable hand to see what the next best play is, and gonna pick Escape Rope. The opponent promotes a new active Pokemon first, then the Escape Rope player does the same. The other Chien-Pao comes into the active, the other Comfey comes into the active, uses that flower selecting. Not a so easy choice here, as our player takes a look at the hand and finally sends a course experiment to Lost Zone. Was the debate over the Manaphy with its Water Veil ability, preventing attack damage from affecting the bench. Yeah, that's pretty good to have down against Chien-Pao, especially since they play that Radiant Greninja that can come out of nowhere and Water Shuriken across the board. Let's see what else our Lost Zone player has. A switch cart. Switching into that Cramorant, and Cramorant uses its Spit Innocently attack for 110 damage for free because there's 4 more cards in the Lost Zone thanks to its Lost Provision ability, and play is passed over to our Chien-Pao player. Okay, so I'll take a little time to say this. Since Chien-Pao player, their hand was not disrupted by the opponent, they would have had the rare candy Baxcalibur in hand for this turn. So we could pretend like that just came into play this turn, and those 2 energy were put onto the Chien-Pao that weren't needed for the KO last turn. So I don't think our mistake affected anything here in this case. We're off the hook and continuing our turn over on the chilly side as a Radiant Greninja is put down onto the bench. Now we don't like seeing that Manaphy across the board, especially now as a boss's orders is played to bring up a Comfey. Okay, we're attacking the Lost Zone engine, it seems. And next is a Shivery Chill from that active Chien-Pao to pull out a couple more water energy from the deck. Again, only 1 water is needed to be discarded to take the KO on the Comfey thanks to the benched Articuno and its ice symbol ability. Couple energy accelerated onto the active. Yep, thanks to Super Code, and then manually retreating that damaged Chien-Pao onto the bench. It's safe out of harm's way as the replacement Chien-Pao is put into the active spot. Hailblade, discarding 1 energy for 70 damage, takes the KO, and play resumes over on Lost Zone side as Comfey moves into the active spot and uses its flower selecting ability to perfectly send a useless Battle VIP pass to the Lost Zone. Think we're at 7 or 8 there in the lost zone. Mirage Gate is online now. Let's see what else our lost zone player has for us. A super rod to recycle some resources. A couple Comfey and a psychic energy get shuffled back into the deck from the discard pile with that super rod here. Wonder what kind of variant this lost zone is. I don't think I've seen any energy that give it away. It's either Radiant Greninja based one or Radiant Charizard based one. As a Beach Court comes down, giving Pokemon in play one less retreat cost. Comfey manually retreats into that Cramorant, and Cramorant uses the Spit Innocently attack to damage the active Chien-Pao. 110 damage, setting up the perfect two-shot here. Would have definitely loved to to have cleaned up the KO on the already damaged Chien-Pao, but we'll take the free attack, right? Hisuian Heavy Ball played over on Chien-Pao's side, allowing that player to look at their prize cards. They can switch the Hisuian Heavy Ball with a basic Pokemon they find there. Looks like a hit was taken with that Origin Form Palkia V, liberated from the prize cards. Hisuian Heavy Ball takes its place. Prize cards are shuffled back up and placed down. Irida is played next as a supporter for turn to let that player search for a item card and a water energy card. Let's see, another Frigibax would be good to get down just in case the Baxcalibur that's in play gets KO'd. But really, the player would like to have a Bibarel as that fifth spot as well, with its Industrious Incisors ability. Considering grabbing the Manaphy, as our Lost Zone player could be playing that Radiant Greninja with its Moonlight Shuriken attack that does 90 damage to 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. But if Manaphy's down, the bench Pokemon cannot take attack damage. So Manaphy basically says, no snipes to my bench, Radiant Greninja. In this matchup, at least. Debating on grabbing this Chien-Pao here. Their player is going to bet there's no Radiant Greninja on the opponent's side, or at least we don't need the Manaphy for it yet, as it has not hit the field. So we're just going to grab a Chien-Pao EX and a Superior Energy Retrieval. We're debating on playing it. Yes, going to go for the Energy Retrieval. You have to discard 2 cards in order to play the Superior Energy Retrieval. When you do, you can put back into your hand from your discard up to 4 basic energy. So the full 4 water energy going to be grabbed from the discard pile, added to the hand here. If this was a different matchup, we'd be one-shotting just about anything that was in the active spot for multiple prizes, right? So an energy will be accelerated onto the active Chien-Pao. I believe it has 3 energy on it now. Accelerated with that Baxcalibur Super Cold ability, of course. Let's see, 2 water energy need to be discarded here to KO the 110 HP Cramorant. And it looks like that's what our player's about to do. They're also consulting the hand, making sure there's no other cards that want to be played. Actually going to go ahead and accelerate 1 more energy to the active Chien-Pao. And take the KO on the opposing Cramorant, and play resumes over on Lost Zone side. Comfey in the active spot uses its flower selecting ability to send a card to the Lost Zone and keep that other card. A replacement Cramorant hits the bench here. Since there's 2 Cramorant, I bet this is Radiant Charizard Lost Zone. Cramorant moves into the active spot thanks to the free retreat with the Beach Court and cleans up the KO on the opposing Chien-Pao. Radiant Greninja put into the active spot over on Chien-Pao's side, and play resumes there. Origin Form Palkia V hits the bench along with another Chien-Pao EX. We've got a Superior Energy Retrieval in hand, a couple Waters, and another card. That Radiant Greninja is not a very good attacker in this case because the opponent has that Manaphy down, so an energy is accelerated to it. We're debating here what exactly the order of operations is. Since that Beach Court is in play, we don't need to attach an energy to retreat the Greninja, so thanks opponent, some awesome sportsmanship we got going on here. Greninja free retreats onto the bench thanks to the Beach Court. Chien-Pao comes to the active. I think I would have liked to see the undamaged Chien-Pao come into the active here. But either way, a KO is lined up. Chien-Pao uses its Super Cold, or Shivery Chill ability to search the deck for up to 2 basic water energy. Looks like 0 were in deck, so 0 targets chosen in this case here. Now we're just relying on those lovely full art golden superior energy retrievals to recycle that water energy as needed. 2 water energy needed to be discarded here to take the KO on the Cramorant, so we've got a KO on board. Not the worst thing in the world, leaving your damaged Pokemon with 0 energy either, so KO, play resumes over on the Lost Zone side. I think I see fire energy, so I think we are dealing with Radiant Charizard Lost Zone here, as a flower selecting is used to draw a couple cards, send one of them to the Lost Zone. Psychic energy attached to the bench. Sableye, as Lost Mine appears to be online. Let's see how many are in the Lost Zone. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in the Lost Zone. So when there are 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, Sableye can use its Lost Mine attack to spread 12 damage counters on the opponent's board in any way they like. Escape Rope being played here. The opponent promotes a Radiant Greninja, and that Sableye is promoted on the other side. And we're going to do some spreading, taking 2 prizes at least this turn. Radiant Charizard hits the board. And let's see, what's the move here? 11 damage counters go on to the damaged Chien-Pao to take the KO. And there's 1 damage counter left to be spread, and that one goes on to the Articuno. Can't tell how much HP is on it. We'll see if it's relevant later, but play will resume over on Chien-Pao's side now. How can they respond? They have to knock out this Sableye. They really want to knock out the Radiant Charizard as well, though, as both players are tied 2 prizes to 2 prizes here in this endgame. Iono was played over on Chien-Pao's side, where both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then they each draw cards equal to their remaining prize cards. Both players will get 2 prize cards off of Iono here. Is that double shopping mall, shopping center, whatever that stadium is called, in hand. Pretty useless at this point, and I think we are stuck on Chien-Pao's side with a Radiant Greninja in the active. Good news is you're only presenting your opponent with the 1 prizer in the active spot, so Radiant Charizard can't just come and clean it up. There's also multiple 1 prizers on your bench to mitigate an Escape Rope KO with Radiant Charizard on the other side. But it looks like Radiant Greninja is just going to free retreat thanks to that Beach Court into that damaged Articuno and pass things over to our Lost Zone player. Sableye is loving it over here, being in the active and spreading 12 damage counters every turn. Man, Mirage Gate being played now. That card can only be played when there are 7 more cards in the lost zone. When you play it, you could search your deck for 2 different basic energy cards and accelerate them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Fire accelerated onto that bench Radiant Charizard. It is ready to do its duty when is needed, as it can attack for 250 for 1 energy right now because the opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. Looks like Sableye is going to clean up the KO on the damage Articuno and put the rest of the damage counters on that Baxcalibur as play resumes over on Chien-Pao's side. What can they do? Top deck, a professor's research. I think what I'd like to see their stadium come down to counter the beach court, but they also could like the free retreat here as well, so hard to tell what exactly to do in that case, but either way we went for that starting fresh research. Now we need the integral item card, Superior Energy Retrieval. Nest Ball being played to search the deck for a basic to add to the bench. That Bidoof finally joining the party here. Bibarel's in hand for next turn, if there is a next turn, but kind of hard putting that Bidoof down as just another Sableye can clean that up and take the last prize of the game with its low HP. I think that's a 70 HP Bidoof. So we definitely need to see a KO on the Sableye this turn. Pal-Pad being used to shuffle back in a couple of supporters from the discard pile back into the deck. Was it Iono and Professor as the choices? So yeah, we definitely need to see a KO on the Sableye, but I'm not sure if our Chien-Pao players got it. I don't think I see Superior Energy Retrieval in hand. We know there's not enough energy in deck for Chien-Pao to pull out with Shivery Chill. So it's got to be those Superior Energy Retrieval, right? Think there's a Manaphy in hand that's debating on being put down. I mean, you might as well put it down now. Actually, no, I think you hold it just in case you need to play the Lumineon next turn, if there is a next turn, but it's just not looking good for our Chien-Pao player on lots of different fronts here, as they're taking a look at the hand and seeing what else can be played, what else can be done in order for me to win this game. My opponent has only 1 prize card left, and I have 0 energy in hand or in play. No way to find it, so passes things over to our opponent. Sableye spreads 7 damage counters onto one of those lower HP Pokemon to take the final prize card of the game. What do you guys think of this video and the commentary? Please let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.